Okay, thank you so much. So let's start today's lecture. It is about actually VR and AR, not GPU. I had to change the name of the title because previously the GPU was covered, but we don't need it in this semester. So no GPU, only VR and AR. So let's talk about what is a VR. So VR is a virtual reality. Um, I don't know if you have gone to the Toggy World in the Bostonhurst City. Have you ever been there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah. No, yes, no. Okay, so there are so many answers. So there is this Toggy World, this place where you can wear this kind of systems. You see this? So you can wear this kind of glass and you can actually enjoy the virtual reality. It means like a 3D world in front of your eyes. So it can be a world, or it can be a solar system, or maybe a gaming environment, anything. So what happens is it actually creates a 3D environment of the real scene. So suppose if we are taking a class in reality, but we want to make it look like where everybody is a character, and our environment is also looks like a 3D environment. So we can make it with this kind of application, which is called virtual reality. So we create a virtual environment around us, and we can enjoy using this with some devices specially made for that. So, so what happens is these things are very good invention nowadays. Like everywhere you can see people are using it to make understand people that how a thing look like, or if you are going to another uh, solar system, or maybe out of the earth, another planet, how will it look? So this is very good innovation. So there are two links of the YouTube you can go through later on to see how it does work. So how are we going to make this reality feel like it's not virtual, it's real? So for human, we have like senses, five senses, like sight, we can see, we can hear, touch, taste, and smell. But for making it look like a 3D environment, we cannot think about the taste yet, but we can make all other like sight, hearing, or touch and smell. If you think about a 4D theater, so it means like you can see the world 3D, and the fourth dimension is could be something that is affecting you. Maybe a wind blowing on your face, maybe some water sprinkling on you, or maybe something is walking over you. It makes you feel like you're in the world already. So this kind of things makes you feel that you're in the environment. So there are two basic processes. One is sensation and one is perception. So sensation is the gathering of information, what kind of environment you want to see, and perception is interpreting the information, like how are you trying to make it look real. So actually, when we were having the pandemic time, we went online. Everything was online, and we had to deal with our classes, exams online. So that time people were getting bored, and people made so many digital things that can make you interested to like study or to do research, especially for the kids. If you think like to make the kids sit in front of the monitor, it's so boring, right? So if we can make something that will make them feel like they're doing it, it's really will be interesting for them. So this virtual reality has some differences from reality. So what happens is, in reality, we have we perceive the environment with senses, and we with the consciousness, and we do some action based on what we receive from the environment. So it goes in a loop for our environment that we are in. Same thing happens in virtual reality. So there are devices which will be connected here and here, and also it will go in a loop to make it look like real. So how does it work? There is this simulation going on. So when we do it naturally, when we hear, when we see, touch, or taste or smell, it works with the brain directly, right? But to make it digital, we need to have some devices that can do the same thing that we do it naturally. So for maybe hearing, we use a headphone. For vision, we use a goggle or a digital sunglass. For touching, we can have some devices that can be haptic. Haptic means if you can see in some mobile phones or tablets, when you touch it, you get a sense of vibration, right? So that is called haptic. So it is like with the sensors, when you touch it, it gets the input and gives you an output depending on what you're trying to do. So for voice, we can use mics. So these are the devices that can actually take all the senses that we are doing it for naturally, and then it can simulate the environment and give and connect it with the Wi-Fi or internet to give us the virtual reality. So while simulating or while using this, we use graphics and HMD. It is head mounted device. So something we wear on our head, and also it is connected with our vision, so that if we move our head, we can also feel like the whole environment is also moving. So the example of visual simulation is when we want to simulate it. So whenever we are getting an input from the scene, we are making it with a 3D graphics, and this is called human machine interface, which is a combination of head mounted device and the vision system. It means the one that is on top of our head. It can also include some tracking so that we can know which way your head is moving. And the vision system is the camera connected to that glass or the head mounted device. And later it will process, the brain will process what are you receiving from this. So this is an example of how head-mounted devices work. Normally, we see and we have a perspective of a picture like this. It's a normal way of visual process. But to make it look like same, we have this kind of devices which it will show. Each eye will have the same video analysis going on, so that you will have the measurement of depth. If you think like you want to see with one eye closed, do you know that we lose the ability of the depth? So we need both the eyes to have the sense of how deep or what is the depth of certain things. So that is why we have like two eyes to make it measure the vision. So this is the similar way any device can work, but we need two vision system which can give us the stereo images as well. Here is some devices that was made back in 1962. This is called Sensorama. This back that time, it had some features which stereo speakers and some 3D display with some fan and some smell generators, and also with a vibrating chair. So when they used to see some films, they would feel like they're in the environment. So it is back then it was the virtual reality. So Morton Haley, he actually developed this system, and he also made some short films like motorcycle or belly dancer, helicopter. So to make people understand that what is a virtual reality looks like. So this is very interesting back then. Look at the computer, it's so big, and people are trying to look at it like it looks like the person is going inside the machine already. But nowadays it's just a goggle, you can or HMD, you can just wear it and see what is happening. So there are different types of virtual reality. One is immersive virtual reality. Second one is non-immersive virtual reality, and the third one is window on world virtual reality. So what is immersive virtual reality is it feels like you are inside the environment. So if you wear a goggle and then you move your head, you only see the 3D environment, right? So you feel like you're also a character in that environment, and you can move around, go further or come back and do everything. So this is fully computerized, fully 3D environment. It is very helpful for playing and also for to use it as if like you want to travel the whole world with the virtual reality. Another type is non-immersive virtual reality. This is like it's not fully the 3D environment. So you can play with the 3D environment and interact with it without even wearing anything. So it feels like you are in a real life. So you are just interacting with a display in front of you. But there are some sensors that can detect your movement, your whole body length, and play the same thing that you're doing. So this is non-immersive. Not it doesn't feel like you're fully inside the environment. Your real environment also have impact on it. And this is window on world virtual reality. It means it is a desktop based virtual reality. It means like if you wear that head mounted device, you can use that computer with your finger gestures, and you can see in your real environment. So it's like a Windows system in front of you, but it's touchable, and also it's like interactive. So it gives you a virtual reality, and also it makes you feel like you're inside the environment as well. So the architecture of virtual reality is looks like this. So it has an input processor that is connected with the world database. This database has all kind of reality that everybody made. So it can connect to it and show you the data that you want to see or interact with. It has a simulation processor, so whenever you have an input, it can simulate and try to get the data from the world database as well. Another thing is rendering processor. This also connects the world database and the simulation processor. So this rendering process actually with all the senses that we work with, visual, auditory, haptic, or touch. We cannot include the smell yet, but maybe soon we can. There are some systems that is interacting with the virtual reality, and these are input processors. So it could be like you can wear some devices on your head or on your arms or legs, and it can process the same thing in the display, but with a 3D characters. And also it has some STEM techniques that you can move your hand or arms, it can detect. This one, you can wear it in your hand and connect your fingers with it. So if you want to touch something and want to drag something heavy, it can also work with the environment as well. So these are some of the examples of input processor. If we talk about simulation processor, we have this kind of devices like 3D audio, then VR headset. This you can see in Bosundhara City as well. If you want to go and really try how the VR looks like, it gives you a very good idea. And this is the one that connects with the fingers. You can simulate what you want to do in 3D. This is Helsinki, one device that has like, these are the cameras. It has 360-degree cameras all around, and it can capture the environment and make it look like the real environment in 3D. So this is also a very good systems for simulation. It gives you a simulated environment of your real environment. And also the rendering process, it gives you the senses, not the 5 senses, but the 4 senses, and it also can derive from the world database that we already show. So everything we do, it it try to search the things in world database and try to save it or store it and try to simulate from there. So yeah, as I told you, like it has all the projects or all the objects, actions of those objects, everything stored in it so that it can interact with the world and make it look like similar as 3D. So there are many applications of VR. Mostly nowadays, you can see VR in military. It's helping to simulate what a soldier can do without even going to the real world. Virtual reality in education. So without it, we can travel anywhere in the world with virtual reality, and also we can visualize scientific data visualization. Real world football game look like, they can also use this VR system and then feel like they're already in the environment. So there are some advantage and disadvantages of VR. Mostly the advantage are it creates a realistic world. So we don't need to go anywhere, or if it is very costly to travel around and seek, virtual reality gives all the education, all the knowledge of this thing. So it enables us to explore places and also explore knowledge. And mostly I think like it's very good for education nowadays. Like we can see what actually it will look like. Disadvantages of this is like this is very costly, and also it has a very complex technology. So to make it look like real, we need to render it. This is similar to virtual reality, but in virtual reality we create the environment fully in 3D. So everything is 3D. There's no real world scenario, or it's just a real world scenarios 3D version. So if we talk about this augmented reality, it gives you a real sense of the real environment. So this adds the virtual computer generated objects, and also it gives a sense of the real world. How, if we want to show you the difference of this AR and VR. So VR, we can say it's totally immersive, but for AR, there are some real world scene also. I'll show you the example that will make you understand how does it look. In real world, there's no character, but you can put some characters in and then make it look like they are also doing the same class. So this is called augmented reality. So it in the same environment, you can put some 3D characters or some 3D objects to look real. So mostly this is head-mounted device because we need to see and have the perception of the real world. It can be used with eyeglasses as well. So how does it work? In head-mounted device, we have a head tracker so that if you move somewhere, the 3D object should be also moving with your head tracking. And we have a camera on top of it to perceive the real world. So whenever any picture is captured with the video camera, it will be going to process and make a video of a real world and go to the video compositor. Same thing when we are using the head-mounted device, there's this head tracker. So this location also needs to be go to video compositor, but also before that, it needs to generate the scene. So both of this will make look and send the combined video to the monitor or the device that is attached with the eye. So this is the architecture of AR. Whenever we perceive something from the real world, we can make it look or feel it like it's real in front of our eyes. So there are many applications in medical, entertainment, military training, design, robotics, manufacturing to look like how already the object that you're trying to manufacture will look like. And also there could be hazard detections, also designing hazard detection. So if you look into the medical application of AR, just look into the picture. So a person taking a picture of a hand, but maybe if we want to um, study something about this skeleton, we can just put the 3D picture or projection on top of that hand, and then we can already detect or know which which part of the skeleton is which one. Also for entertainment, we already know, like we can already have a AR systems and have a 3D environment which can also be interactive, like you can touch it and then interact with the display as well. In military, so this is going to calculate the uh, distance, and also it can detect the target for us. So it's like real-time environment, and also giving us the calculation in digital environment. For education, just imagine you're reading a book and you're scanning it, whatever you're reading it. So it can search for what you are studying about. It can give you the 3D model on top of your book. Looks like it's just there. And then you can see and perceive the knowledge more accurately. So to make this real world as a virtual reality, or also to have all the augmented reality in front of us, we need to process everything, and we need a very powerful device for that. Our motherboards and memories like the RAM could be starting from 4 GB to 32, and there are storage, we call it SSD. So these are the terms that you need to know, which are the components of a computer. For choosing mobile phones, you can go for operating systems like Android or iOS, and you can go for RAMs. It also has like 8 GB, starting from 2 GB. Storage system nowadays we can buy online, or we can have it also by default with the device it comes. And there are many good cameras nowadays. There are like many telephoto lens and wide angle lens as well. These are the examples of hard disk and SSD. So it comes with the computers. They have some differences. So the full form of SSD is a solid state drive, and for HDD is hard disk drive. SSD is much faster than HDD, and the performance is very good, and it has a very little noise when you work with it. SSD is a fully integrated circuit, where HDD has these rotating platters which makes noise actually. Talking about the smart watch, everybody uses it for now, and the features are like accelerometer, pedometers, and nowadays it can monitor the heart rate. It has many GPS receivers also. Sometimes you can receive calls with smartwatch as well. And there are digital cameras also. You can take pictures connecting with your phones. Last but not the least, there are laptops and tablets convertible, so you can detach the keyboard system that can make it look like a tab, and you can work as a tab or tablet. And also you can attach it and work it as a computer as well as a laptop. So these are the techniques. These are some of the hardwares that are related to the computers. So these are two sections actually. One is the hardware and components, and other ones is AR and VR. So that actually comes to the end of this chapter.